Yeah,
All right,
boy.
lastly, we're gonna touch on friend of the channel. Now, Ja's a friend of the channel.
Yeah, sure enough.
Ja's a friend of the channel. We don't talk about Ja a lot of times. Ja Morant is back. He served a 25 game suspension, and he has
Uh-huh.
since joined the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies have won all but one game, I think, since he's been back. So they've been winning. So yeah, that boy putting up his numbers, doing Ja Morant stuff, and he came under a little bit of internet fire because of a celebration that he did after a basketball game against the New Orleans Pelicans when he appeared to be shooting off a gun with his hands. It was a gesture
Whoa.
that he
Whoa.
did. It was a celebration after he did an alley oop dunk. And of course, the internet went crazy because it's like, Ja, come on, man, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But there was some clarification that needed to be had on the part of this particular celebration because there's actually a history behind it. It isn't just Ja Morant, you know, flashing guns with his hands, I guess. So
Oh.
it was an interesting little footnote on the internet. So this article here says learn the origin behind John Morant's controversial finger gun celebration. John Morant returned to the Memphis Grizzlies last week after serving a 25-game suspension for flashing a gun on Instagram Live several months ago and has led the struggling team to four straight wins. He has also come under fire for a finger gun celebration that people have deemed controversial without understanding the context. This past Tuesday, which was December 26th, the Grizzlies defeated the New Orleans Pelicans in overtime after the two-time NBA star clinched the victory with an alley-oop dunk. The 24-year-old turned to the crowd and performed a dance that included pointing his fingers and pulling a trigger, pretending there was a gun in his hand. Several people called out the Dalzell, South Carolina hooper for seemingly not learning his lesson after the 25-game suspension, namely retired NBA player Chandler Parsons. Yeah. And so here is Chandler Parsons. I guess this was Twitter. It says, what else has to happen for you and your family and your friends to learn? Make this about basketball. Make this about your life. Make this about your livelihood and stop doing those things and stop doing things like this. Blah, blah, blah. And so it needed to come out that there was actually context behind what John Moran is doing. The proper context behind the celebration last night, it's a dance created in New Orleans by subtweet Sean Zero that LSU was hitting all season. So it makes sense to troll the city a little after beating the Pels. Blah 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 blah. So here, Complex Sports' Cameron Hay informed naysayers of the origin of the celebration. An influencer in New Orleans reportedly created the dance, and it has been used by LSU's football team all season, which plays in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hay surmised that John Morant sought to troll the entire state by doing the specific dance as he was playing against the New Orleans Pelicans, with whom the Memphis Grizzlies have recently struck up a rivalry. Morant seemingly confirmed this with his tweet early Wednesday morning. An LSU alumnus tweeted, "Turn me up, Memphis," and the Grizzly star quoted the tweet with, "You gotta rock your hips," with a laughing emoji and dancing emoji. So that's the background. So I'll just show you real quick what this dance looks like. Um, for anyone who is unaware, you gotta rock your hips. Rock your hips. Let's see if I can. Here we go. So this was what John Morant did.
Rock your hips. You gotta rock your hips. Rock your hips.
Hang on, that's it. Yeah, okay.
I got it. So this is what Ja did during the game against. Well, not during the game, but at the end of the game against the Pelicans.
Well, there you go.
And then this is the LSU. This is what LSU has been doing all year, and this is where he got it from.
One time. One time, you gotta rock your hips. Rock your hips, 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 you gotta dip with it. Dip with it, you gotta dip with it.
Interesting.
All right, so yeah, man, he was just trolling the Pelicans, and he was using this New Orleans created dance to do it. So all's fair, all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they haven't been calling this elsewhere, I've seen that dance before. I don't know exactly where I saw it, but I've seen it before. And then I saw George Pickens do it. I don't know if that was Monday night or whatever. This past, primetime game that Pittsburgh had, and George Pickens had a touchdown, and he went and started doing that dance. And when I saw him do that, I was like, "Is he going to get a fine for this?" Because can you do that with your hands and start simulating gun motions? Like, is this cool? So I thought they was going to fine him for that. I didn't hear anything about it. And then, not too long after, I see Ja do the thing after, the alley oop. And again, I'm sitting here going, are they letting these guys do this? Apparently so. I just thought it was bad taste. Honestly, for him. I know he's a kid. I know it's just a dance. I know he's trolling the city. Like, but there was this thing I used to do when I was class clowning. I was really class clowning. I was really cutting up. And whenever I got in trouble, you know what I'm saying, and then I would come back to class either from being put out or whatever, you know, I got something for the teacher that's a little close to what I just did, but I didn't do it and I followed the rules. And I'm just really just toting and playing on the line. And because what you gonna tell me? I ain't breaking the rules. Oh, I know you don't like this, but I ain't breaking the rules. That kind of stuff. And it's just a game that I was playing because I got to keep up the shtick. And so when I was doing that, that kind of reminds me of this. And the mindset I was in when I was doing that was to troll. And I also felt like that was part of my character. And that's the dangerous part about all of this for me, is the fact that there's a character that he's playing into, trolling or whatever, and he's toting that line. So for this to even be defined and for people to have to unearth origins in order to give him a pass for this, that's already too much effort and work. And so for him to be doing that, my thing is the problem. Well, that's a problem. It's like, okay, no, it's not a grandiose problem. Like, the man could live his life and do his thing. But what I'm saying is, I felt like he's playing with that line on purpose, and he don't have to, drawing attention to himself when he doesn't have to. But that's when people doing, when they're trolling and being class clowns, and that's kind of how he's behaving to me. So, what are you spoken from a previous class clown? All right, a reformed
Yeah.
one. All right. So what about you, bro? What are your thoughts about Ja Morant, him hitting the dance that LSU's been doing all season long?
Yeah, excuse me for that yawn. So back in 2016, I don't know if you remember this, but Josh Norman, the DB, like he made a tackle. And after he made a tackle, this was back when Norman was playing for, at the time they were still the Redskins.
Mhm.
And he made a tackle, and then when he got up, he celebrated the tackle by doing like a bow and arrow thing. So
Mm.
he got up and he was acting like he was shooting a bow and arrow. So he pulled the bow out of his quiver and then he shot it. And the NFL fined him $10,000 for that. And I thought at the time that to me that's outrageous because all the guy did was make a tackle and he did a bow and arrow is like not a gun. He ain't simulating shooting guns or gunfire. But the NFL really fined this guy $10,000 for simulating firing a bow and arrow.
That's crazy.
So if Josh Norman is, I bring that up to say that there is somewhat of a precedent for this kind of reaction to stuff like this. And I think the fact that it's John Morant and his history magnifies the existence of said because if Josh Norman never got in trouble for anything off the field, and they fined him for $10,000 just for doing a bow and arrow thing. So it stands to reason that John Morant, could see something that comes from doing stuff like this if he keeps doing it. And I kind of feel like, yeah, I agree with you mostly in terms of like, yeah, live your life, do whatever you want, blah, 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 blah. But there has to be something said for being aware. Like, I'm like self-awareness has to be a skill. I'm starting to learn that there are so many things that I used to think people just intrinsically understood and knew, like judgment and good decision making. Like when I was younger, I used to think that these were things that everyone could just do. Like intrinsically, everyone has the capacity to make good decisions and to sort of, exhibit good judgment. Now I've learned that those are skills. Everybody does not do those things. And it appears as though John Morant is a guy who is lacking in those departments from a skill stand. He has not developed those skills. He hasn't. And I'm not saying that it's the end of the world just because you're doing that little dance. But I know that if it were me, and I pride myself on being someone who exhibits good judgment and makes sound decisions, I'm probably going to think twice before doing that if I was previously suspended because I was waving a gun on Instagram. Because there might be some blowback. So I just think that this sort of exemplifies the difference between people who have the capacity for good judgment and people who don't. And I believe that that's a skill. And I think John Morant does not have that skill, or at least he doesn't have it in very large quantities, because he'll just do things and act and make decisions and do stuff that seems to be something that could lead you on a pathway to getting into unnecessary trouble. Like literally unnecessary trouble. I don't think he should get fined or disciplined for this, but it's just the propensity for you to not think before you do stuff is the alarming part. And so, because you have that propensity to not think before you do stuff and you just do it, what is going to be the thing that you don't think about doing before you actually do it that does get you in more trouble? Because I would surmise that it's only a matter of time because he's just one of those people who just doesn't necessarily consider consequences. And I think he doesn't consider consequences because he is literally a person who has not adequately developed the skill of good judgment yet. I just don't think he's done that yet. He strikes me as like an extroverted guy. You met those kind of guys like John Morant. To me, I think he's like an extrovert. He feeds off of the attention that he gets from exhibiting attention-seeking behavior. He strikes me that way. I've met people like that in my own life. I've had guys who I've been friends with who are that way, just always on, always turned up, always trying to be the center of attention, always wanting to let you know that they're in the room, and they literally feed off of that. Like it gives them energy. Literally, it gives them energy. Whereas people who are more on the introverted scale, or at least somewhere in the middle, don't necessarily feed off of it, but can benefit from it in pockets where it's advantageous. But he kind of strikes me as the guy who's way on the extroverted scale, who don't think about nothing. He's just like always on all the time, go, 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 go. And I think that on top of the fact that he just doesn't seem to be somebody who has learned the skill of judgment, it can create a mess for him down the road. I don't want to see the guy get in trouble again or get suspended, but it is what it is. He just looks like somebody who just doesn't have the skill to be able to exhibit good judgment.
Yeah, and again, man, I don't care. Call me grandpa, get off my lawn. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't like that dance. So I don't like it. I don't want to see it. Personally, I don't want to see it. I think it's very disrespectful. If you don't allow people to do throat slashing, then you shouldn't allow people to simulate guns and like they letting off rounds. Like, I'm sorry. Arrows, you can do that. I don't mind arrows. Regular everyday stuff, man. I don't mind. Like, honestly, I didn't even like the gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And because I was like, okay, well, once I heard the origins to this, I was like, what? And it was on ESPN. It was like, yeah, this for the B is for the Bloods, and we doing this for the blood. I'm like, okay, so y'all letting these guys just do blood dances in the end zone? And the more Justin Jefferson does it, the zestier it gets. So I'm against the gritty. I don't care, man. Call me grandpa with y'all Fortnite dances. I don't care about none of that. So yeah, man, I don't care about none of that, man. I don't like this dance. Yeah, man, people can have fun. Yeah, people can flex on people. Hey, man, let the crowd know that you just, you know what I'm saying, devastated them, sent the dagger or what have you. I'm not saying I'm against celebration. I just don't like simulated violence like this personally. And
Yeah.
so that's why I didn't like it. And then on top of that, it's like, oh yeah, and of course it's Ja doing this.
Yeah, right.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Again, like in school, like mind you, like I was like this, but I'm also telling y'all about middle school. All right. This is a grown ass man with a child. So at some point, it's like we got to stop giving this guy the baby. He's a kid pass.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, at this point, we're getting into decision making territory. He's still young, but golly, bro. Like I'm not. That's one thing is, and last thing I say is, it's because I want to be able to be like, he's just a kid. Let him go. I want to be like that. But some of this stuff is like, nah, nephew, you want to hit him in the back of the head. Like, stop, bro. Like, you don't have to do that. And if you want to get gully like that on your live and do a dance like that on your live and people want to blow that, it's like, bro, he doing that in his house for real. Like, let him do it at home. But on the basketball court, at the crowd, oh, man, sit down with that. I don't care. Call me old school. God damn it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm not for this. But I still wish the best for this young man. I hope he clears up his head. But he comes off like the kid that always goes in detention.
He was probably in CSI a lot. and loved getting sent to CSI because it got him attention. Like there were those guys in high school that when they went to CSI, it was like they thought it was cool. Yeah. I'm with you. The Gen Zers are definitely gonna be like, get off my lawn.
Hey, man, I'm grandpa.
They're all for this new human stuff.
Hey man, just call me grandpa with all y'all little dances, y'all little Fortnite stuff, y'all emoting is what these kids call it, and he just bust out and start emoting. But hey man, it's all good. I just tease though.
Ja is a new human. He's a new human.
Yeah, man.
He lives his life on the internet.
We got to live with these people.
he probably spends a whole lot of time on Instagram and TikTok and listening to his music.
Hey, bro,
so he's a new human, man.
I seen the video on TikTok, man. These kids was it's daycare, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just blocks and stuff. It's not really learning, it's daycare. And them kids was in there not rehearsing, like word for word saying Pound Town. Pound Town and other like explicit songs. And then, the comment section was gasping at it. And it's like, oh yeah, now we got kids being raised by new humans. So it's like, hey man, we're in a world where, bruh, we here, dog. We gotta live amongst this. So we gotta like learn how to like navigate through all the new people like behaviors. Like, because these are wild times, man.
They are wild times. Well, what are you gonna do when the music industry is making a mockery of your art by giving "Ski Yee" by Sexy Red Song of the Year, according to Rolling Stone.
You lying?
And I think was it Ice Spice got like album of the year or some crap like that? I want to say like this is a joke, bro. It's
That's
a
what I'm saying,
joke.
bro. And if you're not laughing, at least, well, that's not funny. Oh, it's not funny. But you gotta laugh at it. And if you're not laughing at Ski Yeet being song of the year and Ice Spice, just even her being nominated for album of the year is already, you gotta start
she
laughing at this stuff.
she got some kind of yearly award from some institution. Somebody fact check us in the comments. It was like song. No, well, the Sexy Red got song of the year, but I read Ice Spice like album of the year or best new artist of the year or something like that. Like this stuff is a joke, man. So I do laugh because that's what I do with jokes. I laugh at them. So
Okay,
I
yeah,
find it
bro.
I find it funny too.
Oh,
I
man.
really do. But what else can you expect, man? These kids are growing up with this stuff, so they are powerless against it.
Good
Can't
luck,
be
y'all.
stopped.
Good luck, y'all.
Yeah, good luck, Ja. On that note, we are going to go ahead and close out tonight's stream. Good stuff. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is JV Wins. That is the boy Dogon SS. Hopefully, the simulcast on Instagram went off without a hitch. This was our first time trying that out. So we'll see what happens. But if you like the commentary in this or any of the other videos on this channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do this every week. We got conversations like this popping off each and every video. So this is what we do, man. We ain't trying to start a cult. So please don't come in here thinking that you got to agree with us. Feel free to disagree all you want because I don't know everything. I just know what I have an opinion on. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Constance Approach is also on Instagram at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. If you happen to be seeing this video on the Facebook page, go ahead and follow the page and like the video, share the video. Hell, share this video on YouTube too. We'll take all of the looks that we can get. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this video. And until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.
And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on TikTok at Dogon_SS as well. Hey man, if you in the DraftKings, bro, send me the app, bro. I'll take your cash. NFL season running out, bro. That's my money maker. I mean, just try your best. All right. And as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it kill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, y'all, we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. Even though it ain't looking good, go Florida State against Georgia in the Orange Bowl on Saturday. Go Heat. Good stuff coming down the pike, man. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. We are out. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes. Go Canes. Hey, even though we lost, dog, we still in there. We ain't go Canes.